So starter number 7 is mostly about the sun. And the first question is asking, the sun's what? So what is that glow around the sun, which kind of looks like a halo, and it can mainly be seen completely during a solar eclipse. A complete solar eclipse allows you to see this coming off of the sun. What is it? The corona. The sun's corona is that halo-like glow coming off of the sun. Okay, the corona. There you go. Good, corona. Now next, here's a comet question. Comets are mostly made of what? Rocks and ice, right? They're like a big, dirty snowball going through space. And they originate far, far out past Pluto, and they have an orbit around the sun. And these orbits cross paths with planets. And they are gigantic, dusty balls of rock. That's all right, just go to the next one. Now, when they get close to the sun, that ice kind of sublimates, kind of like dry ice sublimates here when we played that dry ice air hockey, leaving a trail behind it, and we call that a tail. And as it goes back to the deep outer space, it collects more ice and it recharges itself. Okay? What is the #1 known comet that passes through our solar system? Halley's Comet. You remember how long it takes to come back around? How long? Huh? 76 years. Last time it came around was in 1986. So you'll be lucky to see it again not pretty soon. Is it big? You'll see it coming across the sky. It's not. Yes. No. I don't know how long that comes by. Next, you had this question already in starter number 6, and I was going to delete it, but then you'd ask, why did I delete it? So I left it in. Magnetic storms are the result of an increase in solar winds caused by eruptions on the sun called what? What are these eruptions called? Solar flares. You can also call them solar prominences, but I like flares better because it gives you an idea of what it looks like. It's a gigantic flare coming off of the sun, and when you see it in pictures, you're like, oh, that's neat, but that flare is stretching incredibly far. Oh, and those flares, when they have these magnetic storms, big ones happen every about 13 years, and if we didn't have our magnetic field around the Earth, there'd be some pretty bad damage on this planet. But since we have our magnetic field protecting us, we do okay. Next, nuclear fusion. First off, what is nuclear fusion? Nuclear, what does nuclear mean? Nuclear means in the middle of the nucleus of the atom, and fusion means to what? Combine. So nuclear fusion means they're combining the nuclei of atoms together, making new elements. So the sun is an element factory. It's producing new elements all the time, mainly hydrogen. Okay, and this happens in the sun's what? Core. Why do they not call it a nucleus? Beats me, right? But they call it the core, the center of, in this case, means the core. And finally, the asteroid belt is located between which 2 planets? Mars and Jupiter. It is kind of like the separator of the terrestrial small rocky planets and the gigantic gas planets. It's the separator. It separates the two, okay, in the 2 categories. Are there any questions on these questions? Awesome.